Nerds and geeks, welcome back to it. Another edition of the legendary Nerds of the Round Table. Yours truly, King Nerdificent Twala Sharp in the building, joined by Tom is Talking Cunningham. What it is, good sir?
I am good. I actually just got home after seeing All You Need Is Kill, which is,
Oh, you went.
I
Okay,
did
okay,
go
okay,
see it. I took my
okay,
sons to see it.
okay.
So we don't have to start the show with
No,
that.
no, no,
Although
no, no,
while we're
no.
waiting
Because
for some
guess
other,
what? Because we're the only two that are here on time. And I did because I got tickets for me and my son
okay,
to see it. But then all of a sudden hit me with, okay, so dad, so I got this party I'm gonna go to. And you know how 19, 20 year olds are when they're real scant on information. I'm like, so what time is this gonna be? Well, it's
right.
gonna be about this time. And what time will you be? I said, yo, I'm trying to get these tickets for us to go see this film. Okay, cool. I'll let you know. Totally missed it. And I don't even know if I could get my refund back. It was hot as fish grease. How
Oh
was
yeah,
it?
if you didn't submit for a refund before the scheduled start time, you're out of gas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I will say this: my younger son Cole, had read the manga.
Okay.
And he knew that Edge of Tomorrow was an adaptation of the manga and knew that this movie was also an adaptation of the manga. So the core principle of there's an alien invasion and the protagonists get exposed to some aspect of the alien, which causes them to reset the timeline every time the protagonist is killed.
Mm-hmm.
That remains the same. But it is very different. Um, you don't have as many characters in Edge of Tomorrow, which really should have been titled Live, Die, Repeat, because that's what
It
the
should have. Yeah,
marketing campaign was.
yeah.
So you have in that movie, in addition to Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise, you had a bunch of other characters. You don't really have a bunch of other meaningful characters in this anime, except for the female protagonist Rita, who basically fills the shoes of the Emily Blunt character, and then a very, very different Tom Cruise character named Keiji, who is a coward. So he's not at all like the Tom Cruise character, but
Well, but the Tom Cruise character was a coward. Remember, he was trying his hardest to not fight, to do everything but fight. And that's why he got drafted, because he was basically a coward in a suit.
right. But I'm saying once he gets into it, once he gets into the role,
Oh,
um, she is more so the Emily Blunt is more forward facing in this.
mhm.
I'll put it to you that way.
Gotcha.
So, whereas in the Tom Cruise movie, obviously it's Tom Cruise. So, she the Rita character is the Angel of Verdun. That's the first person that we as the audience realize is the person who understands what's going on, and then the KG character comes in a little bit. She kind of stumbles into him. Um, it's a very interesting style. It's a very stylized uh, anime style. It is not at all like what we have come to expect from some other anime. Um, it's more fauvist, I guess I would say,
Hmm.
um, in terms of its lack of normal body structures. It's not. It's even more out there than a traditional like Studio Ghibli, which it
Yeah.
has its very stylized style. This is elongated fingers, kind of weird proportions in clothing, weird proportions in hair. It was still interesting to look at, and the creature structure was certainly interesting. But I have to say that Edge of Tomorrow, I think, is a more satisfying film, um, just because the creatures in this are very fantastical, and because it's there are some Japanese anime that are super duper dark.
Yeah.
This is not. The Some of the themes are a little dark, but uh, visually and
Color
tonally,
palette and tonality.
yeah,
Yeah. It looked. Yeah.
it is not as dark as what you were kind of experiencing in Edge of Tomorrow or some of the other darker anime that we've seen. Even Clash, Attack on Titan or anything like that, or certainly Parasite, which was a lot more dark than this. So
The animation kind of reminded me when I saw the trailer. It reminded me of Don Da Don. As far as the animation style,
yeah,
how the proportions of the people and how
yeah, I think that's
everyone
fair.
is kind of hyper exaggerating how they look just in general.
Right.
And looking at the trailer, I was like, man, do not take anyone who could possibly be prone to seizure activity because it looked very, very chaotic in the colors and the lights and everything flashing. It was even in the theater. I saw the first time I saw it was on the IMAX when I can't remember what I went to see, but I saw on IMAX and I was like, whoa, this is a lot to look at on the big screen. This is the color pattern. I was like, oh, I'm about to get a headache. So I said to myself, they should have a warning in the beginning of that. Dr. Liz from the Freeway has joined us. How you doing, sister girl?
I am well, everyone.
Nice, 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 nice. You are right on time. We were just digging into some anime real quick, waiting for y'all to join in since we know for a fact y'all have not watched any of it. Not at all.
So the only reason why I would see anime is because we got paid to go watch to see One Piece.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Today we were going to start off with some of the biggest news that hit the nerd sphere, something that those of us who are still holding out hope that Star Wars can be great, holding out hope against hope that we can return to something that we can all enjoy unanimously. And we felt in our heart of hearts that all of our hopes and dreams were being crushed by the imperial dark-sided fist of one Kathleen Kennedy, who has now announced that finally, after teasing us for so long that she was stepping down, really just teasing us like, you filthy tease, she's finally out. She's out. And at long last, the Star Wars savior, the individual who actually got Star Wars back on track in an animated sense, Dave Filoni, who lives, eats, breathes, sleeps, thinks shit Star Wars, is in charge. Forgive me for getting the young lady who he is partnered with, who is the executive, but Dave Filoni is the creative genius behind all of our favorites, along with Dave Favreau. They gave us The Mandalorian. They give us Ahsoka, of course, Clone Wars and The Bad Batch, and just every animated great that we've ever seen has come from the mind of Dave Filoni and his crew. And so now with them in charge, I am hoping that finally we get some really, really solid stories. And I know Mo Kelly isn't here to speak on it, but something that Mo does not like about the Star Wars universe is that it has gotten way too kiddie. And I don't know if that's a fair criticism. I'm not going to attack Mo's opinion while he's not here, but only because Star Wars should be for kids. I just think that there should be a greater separation with some of the things that I think it should really, really be hammered out, that this is strictly for kids and they can still have the adult world that Andor gave us, which for me is what I was waiting for forever from Star Wars, is the war, the story behind all the people behind the makings of Star Wars, and getting us away from the Jedi and the Luke and the Leia and all that. That's what Andor did, and I'm hoping we get more of that. Liz, I know you're not only rolling your eyes, but your stomach is turning as well, because you're constantly the one in the chat saying, y'all still holding on to the Star Wars?
Look, I was thinking about your concept of separating it, because isn't that what Marvel did with Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Mm-hmm. So, but at the same token, the interesting pushback on that Deadpool and Wolverine movie was the number of parents who were taken aback when they bought their kids, because even though I said rated R, but they just assumed that the Wolverine would have made it a little bit more kid friendly. Look, Star Wars is just
I know. You're not a fan. You're just like whatever, y'all.
It's kind of one of those things where you have no idea it's going to be a hit and miss. The big thing at the moment is Legos. So Star Wars is making a huge thing with the Legos. By the way, you can get the the the, the circle thing. What do you call it?
Death Star.
The Death Star.
There you
Yes.
go for
That's a circle
$1,000.
thing?
$1,000. So you see, it's not in the back.
So I will just say that I was a kid when the original trilogy came out.
Mhm.
And as a kid, I think I was in 3rd grade when A New Hope came out, or it was just Star Wars at that point. And I enjoyed it just like every kid did. And I also enjoyed The Empire Strikes Back. I thought already by Return of the Jedi that he was revisiting themes, and I was not a fan of the Ewoks, and so I just left it. I was like, I am a person who enjoys fandom, but Star Trek was just never my Star Trek. Star Trek was more my ministry than Star Wars. I loved Star Trek.
Interesting. Okay.
I saw every episode of Star Trek. It was off air by the time I could really consume it, but it was in reruns. And so I was able to enjoy every episode of Star Trek. And then because of Star Wars, Star Trek actually was made into a movie, my affiliation and my affinity for that franchise is a lot greater than my affinity for Star Wars. Because the movies were just the movies. There weren't TV shows back then that were expanding the universe in the way that they're being expanded now. And so I just never had that intense devotion to Lucas, and Lucas's genius and everything is perfect, especially after the prequel trilogy, which was very disappointing to me. So I don't look at it with the same, like, oh my gosh. The thing that brought me back that I thought was really cool were the Clone Wars animated series.
Yep.
Especially the Mace Windu episode, which was just badass. And they had to uncanonize that because there's no way he loses to the Emperor.
There's no way.
Yeah. Droid. So so that was a little bit disappointing. But other than that, if I can enjoy a Star Wars property, I'm happy to enjoy it. I enjoyed Ahsoka. I wasn't a big fan of the space whales or whatever, but I thought that was cool storytelling. I have been able to enjoy other aspects of the Star Wars stuff. Never got really into The Mandalorian, but that's fine. I enjoyed certain aspects. I like the droids better than I like most human actors in the Star Wars franchise these days. But I'm just not beholden to it in the same way. So
I know that new trailer of that new movie is not the
Grogu one? Yeah, Mandy and Grogu.
At all to me.
I mean, it looks like a trailer for the next season of The Mandalorian to me. It doesn't strike me as like, oh, this is a must see that's just gonna reset everything and everything's gonna be cool. Perhaps because Kathleen Kennedy was still the EP for that movie. But I just don't. I'm not a person who is as invested in the lore. If they had done like the Thrawn trilogy right after the original trilogy, if they had followed, with Mara Jade and all of that, if they had done
the Dark Empire,
right, I might have some more staying power with it. But I don't believe, call it heresy, I don't think Star Wars holds up, even with his updated graphics and all that. I don't think it holds together as well as a story, and as it did when I was a kid and was less discerning as a film goer. So
I have a question for you guys. So is this new movie supposed to take place? Is it supposed to look this way because it's supposed to take place, what, in the 70s?
No.
What? What? No.
No,
you're talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu? The Mandalorian and Grogu is after all of the Star. Well, Yeah, I think it's even
Yeah,
after
it
the
is.
new
It is
trilogy, right?
after. It is after other. But I think the style in which they shot it, Liz, if you're talking about the camera works and how it looks on screen, I think that they shot it in maybe in 70 millimeter, but they shot it in a different framework to give it a different big screen look. I had read a story on that, so that it is supposed to look different. I do understand what you're saying. By is it supposed to be set in the 70s? It because when you look at it, the film has a almost old school film look to it, and I believe that is because of the camera use that was used in it to give it a feel that it is more connected to the original Star Wars universe. I believe that is part of what went into the
Hmm.
filming of the movie.
So it's really supposed to be more present day?
I mean, everything is set in a galaxy far, far away, so there is no present day in the world of Star Wars.
I hear you. See, this is gonna make me hate it even more. But to each his own.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, for example, the prequel, like we had a prequel with the one that I really hate, the
Aiden
um
Christensen.
the more recent prequel, I guess. It's gosh, what's the name of that?
A recent prequel.
Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan is not the prequel that took place. That was how him and Chewbacca met.
Oh no, that was Solo.
No, that's Han
Solo.
Solo. That's
Yeah.
Solo.
Okay, so that was supposed to take place like before Star Wars, right? Before
Yes.
the first Star Wars.
Before the first
It
Hope,
didn't
yes.
really look like it was supposed to take place before the first Star Wars. And I was just curious, like, if this was supposed to be kind of like that same vein, that it was supposed to take place before the first Star Wars.
No,
No,
this
the
is way after.
Mandalorian Grogu, it takes place way after. Yeah, it takes place way after all that. But it's before Kylo Ren and all that happened. So it is set in between the Empire Strikes Back and J.J. Abrams release, the Return of the Jedi.
So this is between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes place after the because all of this stories is happening around the same time that stories like because it takes place after Ahsoka comes back, and so that's way after the fall of the Empire and all of those stories that happen. So this is taking place kind of in a small gap right after that.
Because you said it's when Ahsoka comes back, but Ahsoka right now in her own series, the
Ahsoka that we're seeing in the series, in the Ahsoka series, is the Ahsoka that happens after all of those animated series, after the Clone Wars and after Star Wars Rebels. This is an Ahsoka that comes back after Ezra Bridger disappeared. So this is well after that. This is her coming back, but it is before,
and this is why I don't.
It is before the newer trilogy.
This is too much lore. Listen.
Oh, but see me, I think for individuals like myself who are
absolutely, I get it.
I think I mean, because it's like after the first trilogy of films ended, I got heavy into the books and comic books, and so those stories until they dropped that first Gennady Tartakovsky the 2D animated series that we all love that got us into. Before that dropped, for me, it was all comic books, and I was a hardcore action figure collector of all things Star Wars. So that kept me into the storyline. So then having the baton pass to this really, really interesting and expertly drawn animated series, and then we get into all of the lore of the 3D animated series that Filoni gave us with Rebels and Clone Wars and all that. For me, I was like, wow, there's so much story that happened in between what we thought, especially in between from that stupid prequel. All those things made sense when you look at all of the things that happened in between on the animated series.
I mean, but Tawala, come on, you're hopping around all over the place. Like
it does, and it's not necessarily it's not a linear story. There's a lot of things within the Star Wars stories that have come out on television and on the big screen that all happen within the same time. Like a lot of these stories happen in the same time, and so that's kind of what throws a lot of people off with Star Wars. Period, and following everything is if you really don't watch everything, you miss a lot. And it's, and I think that that's kind of what Filoni did with the Mandalorian. He was like, you know what, I'm making this series, and I don't care if you didn't watch Clone Wars to know what's going on. I don't care if you, like, even with Ahsoka, there's so many things that happen in Ahsoka that are that's a straight continuation from the animated series, which is why those of us who watched especially that final season of Clone Wars, Ahsoka was everything, because it was like you told the story, you told everything that happened. But for anyone who didn't watch that, it's like, oh, okay, sure.
I guess my through line on this is that all of this extra stuff that you're talking about is not written by George Lucas. It's the George Lucas deification that I think upsets me most about the fandom with Star Wars, because they're like, oh, George Lucas, when George Lucas was in charge. George Lucas was trash. He does not write well. And he lucked up in hitting the cultural zeitgeist when he did. And the best movie of the original trilogy was not directed by him.
True.
Flat out.
Yeah. Was cast.
We're getting some feedback on you, Mo.
I think for all of us, especially, all of us who were, I think I might have been 12 or 13 when The Empire Strikes Back came out. And so any one of us at that age, we're already jaded. We're starting to watch horror movies. We're into another lane when it comes to what we're consuming. By the time that film came out, we were past being kids. We were like, oh, this is trash. I don't think any of us liked that. The idea of him coming out with a prequel series was exciting. Those lines were incredible. I was happy to be in line and be an adult, because it took me back to being a kid, being in line with my mom seeing the first one. So I was like, man, this is everything. And the level of disappointment that came from these stories that seemed like not a lot of thought went into really telling this story at all. And then you give us a big middle finger. I mean, you basically were fisting us when it came to that last series of films. Fisting that.
You mean you didn't like the brother and the sister became love interest?
No, I didn't like any of that. I did not like any of the last three. All that was absolute hot trash for me. The series, however, were good, except for, look, I did not like the pamphlet of Boba Fett. The pamphlet of Boba Fett was trash. Absolute trash. The pamphlet of Boba Fett should not have been made. Obi-Wan had some good parts in it, but then when you get to an ending that betrays every single thing that we know going forward, it's like one of those, like, the timeline doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense in that. Oh no, Solo should not have happened, which was, again, that was a Kathleen Kennedy move. It was originally set up by the cats who gave us the Lego movie, and it was on its way to being a really good movie. But she came in and said, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, that, and the third. And they said, you know what, we're out. And she's called her friend Ron Howard for some reason and said, Ron, I know you have no business doing any action films whatsoever, but I still want you to tackle this. And that's what we got. We got Solo. We got a movie made off of a line in a film that did not live up to anything, and it was a completely
12 parsecs thing.
Yeah, it was absolute trash that they did that, and we were hyped. We went to go see. I saw it opening day, and I walked out of there angry. I couldn't get my life back. Couldn't get it back. So this is one of those, like, yes, ding dong, the witch is dead. Thank goodness Kathleen Kennedy is out, and hopefully, what we will see in the future will be something from Star Wars that will write the property to the point where, folks like you, Tom, who are kind of like, look, I like it, I can do without it. I'm more into Star Trek. Liz, who's like, whatever, y'all. And
look,
diehards like Mo and myself will be satisfied.
Yeah, but I think that they've sullied themselves so much to where they're struggling to get people to come to the movies in the same way that they used to. Because I even know, like, the last movie, I mean, on opening night, seats were empty.
Yeah, but I think seats are going to be empty. The
Mm.
more time spent away from movie theaters by just consumers, period, the more seats are going to be empty. I know there are a lot of people who may be hyped off of Avengers Doomsday, but I still suspect that upon its release, there are going to be a lot of empty theaters, only because they're going to give us a 3 hour and 45 minute film, and they have yet to say anything about intermission. It's a lot of movie time. It's a lot of movie. And so I think that may actually hurt them more than it will help them, because I think there are those of us who will go see it, try our best to sit there the whole time, and there are probably plenty of people who are like, "Oh man, 3 hours 40 minutes, nah man, damn that." And I'm talking about the casual film goer. The diehards. Yeah, diehards will be there, but this is a film that has to work across the board, and there has not been enough things happening within the Marvel Cinematic Universe for them to believe they've earned 3 hours and 45 minutes of the casual average film goer. The trailers that they've been
missing out that there's going to be a Spider-Man movie that's going to come out in July.
And there's that. It's look, film going is at a premium right now, even for those of us who have the A+, but the trailers that they've been dropping, look, the first trailer, the Steve Rogers trailer, the second trailer, Thor trailer, nah. Then they dropped the X-Men trailer. It's like, oh shit, that was hot, because it gave us James Marsden Cyclops in the original Cyclops uniform, the uniform we wanted to see him in the beginning, not that straight silly black shit that they came out with. It gave us Cyclops. How they're gonna make it that he's all of a sudden in that uniform, never has been before. Sure, whatever. Let's just go with it. For me, the Wakanda trailer meets reintroducing Namor. And introducing, the thing. For me, the thing that stood out for that is when you have M'Baku saying, King M'Baku of Wakanda. I was like, oh shit, this is about to be a major, major thing. Still, it's a lot of story to tell in a 3 hour and 45 minute film. All this setup, and then you're supposed to give us Doom?
I think one of the things, to your point, Twala, about the movie-going attendance is with the predominance of streaming services, and it's not just Netflix, it's Amazon Prime's new programming, it's Apple's new programming, and of course, one of the things that we wanted to talk about this week that came out on Netflix is The Rip. So, Mo, you are now in the studio.
Yes.
Why don't you rip the ripcord on The Rip? And
Can I back up? Can I back up 1 second, because it actually ties in? It's about the theater going experience. And no disrespect to anyone's age here, but we're talking amongst ourselves, average age 50. So the theater going experience per se, I said average age, Liz. I didn't say you were 50.
Bad. Because I was
very clear about average. I'm 56, okay? Twala, I think, is 53. Tom is 78, okay?
Wow.
Average age. Average age.
At least I know how to pronounce the name of my fraternity.
I don't recognize that motherfucker. So I don't know him. Stephen A. Smythe. Anyhow, but I'm saying, which goes back to Star Wars. I said many years ago, I am out on a Star Wars movie. They're going to have to earn me back. I do not feel that same way when it comes to Marvel. When it comes to Marvel, Marvel's going to get my money. And yes, it's been a while since they've had a hit, but think of it this way. Let's say we didn't have all those mediocre movies in between, and they just brought us Avengers Doomsday. It's almost like waiting 10 or 12 years for a long-awaited sequel. I'm okay with that. And I would say the overwhelming majority of Marvel fans would be okay with that in just anticipation. They don't have the anchor of Kathleen Kennedy and this long, expansive, multi-decade history of bad movies and projects. Marvel, I think, has enough goodwill in the tank where they're not going, and Liz made the best point. You have Spider-Man as a lead-in. They have not had a bad Spider-Man movie yet in that iteration.
That's true.
And if they can just give me one more good Spider-Man movie, which properly sets up Doomsday as a lead-in, I don't know how, but if they do that, all will be forgotten. It's almost like you haven't seen this old girlfriend in 15, 20 years. When you left, you were mad, but then she sides up to you and says, come on now. You know you want this. You remember what it's like. And you're mad for a minute. For a minute.
Yeah. No, you're right about that.
Now to the rip. And we have all these other streaming options. We have these things which are competing for our time. And for full disclosure, Joe Carnahan, who wrote and directed The Rip, was a guest on our show. We have a very cordial, pleasant relationship with him. And I say that to say, when I say that I'm effusive and I really liked The Rip, let me say off top, I say that genuinely. From the opening scene, the way the color palette was very Michael Mann-ish to me. I felt like I was watching Collateral in that dark blue, deep hue. That was something that stood out to me. Love that. I just like, for what it was, I loved it. I wouldn't have been mad if I saw it in the theater. Yes, it was Ben. Huh?
I agree with you.
Okay.
This could have been a release.
Yeah. I enjoyed just about everything about it. You know, was it Ben Affleck and Matt Damon almost caricatures of themselves? Sure. Okay. But, you know, when you put Matt and Ben together, they're no longer Batman. They're no longer Jason Bourne. So, you know, you take it for what it is. And it was a good, when I say a set piece, it was all in one location. And me personally, I like movies like that, which happen all in one day, in one location, very Training Day-ish. Where all of this is happening within a set amount of parameters. You know, I liked that it had a movie score, which was reminiscent of almost a horror movie. And there was something sinister always hanging over these characters' heads. And you didn't know what, you didn't know who. Yes, there was a lot of exposition and convenient storytelling to help lead you to the twists. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I don't want to get so far afield where it's like, I can't be pleased by anything. I enjoyed the fucking movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have a question about this though. I was surprised that it was not actually as a statement. I'm surprised it's not in Boston because I mean they only do movies in Boston. So I was like, oh, we're in Miami. Are you sure in Miami? Are you on back to Boston?
But do you know that Ben Affleck is fluent in Spanish?
I did not know that.
No,
genuinely fluent.
He did a good job, but I will agree with Liz on that point because I turned it on and I kind of walked to the kitchen and I heard Ben Affleck Afflecking and I said, oh, okay, so this is like The Departed 2 or something. I was hearing kind of that Irish Bostonian kind of thing. And then it was like when they had the scene where the cars were pulling donuts and the motorbikes and right at the very beginning, I was like, oh, wait, this really is in Miami. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are cops in Miami. Let me reset a little bit because I just wasn't ready for that. I will say that having seen One Battle After Another, which is a much more ambitious film that does a lot of things, and certainly it isn't constrained, as Mo said, in that 24-hour, 48-hour period of time, but as a film that has some of the same underlying premises, not the least of which is Tiana Taylor, who was completely wasted in this film, in The Rip. But I just thought that was a better film overall. But this was a fine, you know, kind of a throwback to you know, an 80s buddy cop heist whatever thing, and Carnahan is good at that. And so there was nothing wrong with it. I thought some of the breadcrumbs were laid rather liberally. they were thrown
I think that's fair.
So how does a film like this compare to Den of Thieves? Because when I saw the trailer, it gave me Den of Thieves vibes. The Curtis Jackson.
Yeah, I like this far better. Okay. Far better. And maybe what's that? Is that Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler, yeah.
Gerard Butler, yeah. I just like this better stylistically. Okay. I could see where this could have a sequel as Den of Thieves did, and I appreciated both, but this is what streaming is about. I don't know if this movie gets made for purely theater release.
Right.
I personally enjoyed it, and I would not have been mad if I saw it in the theater.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's
could have
interesting that
been.
you
There
say
was an
that.
era in which it could have been made as a theatrical release,
For sure.
but I think that era has passed because you have things like Netflix, which are available, and technically, it's. Remember when TV movies? We used to have a movie of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh, yeah.
about you, man, since you're a
Yeah.
teenager, but us in the geriatric age, it's the ABC movie of the week,
Oh, yeah.
and you didn't have cinematic stars starring
True.
on TV. That is not the case now. And it is true that somebody like Matt Damon has probably seen better days. No one is more surprised than me that he's anchoring the Odyssey. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, look,
He
Lord have
doesn't
mercy.
do accent work very well. And then
Look,
they have
but
John
no one
Bernthal
in that damn film is doing any accent work. Not John Bernthal, not Tom Holland, not any. They're all talking like they are literally living right now, and they're just happen to be showing up on an Odyssey set, which is what I hate about it. But okay, I digress. Go ahead.
And also a bit surprising given the director.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. So I will just say the rip was I like Mo. I do like claustrophobic caper films, and I thought the introduction of the Desi character, who was she's an absolutely adorable actor, but there was a little bit of texture and layering to her that emerged over the course of the runtime, and a very satisfactory conclusion. The third act was convenient. I'll just say that it was super duper convenient. But
can we also introduce the Stephen Yeun portion of the conversation?
That's all on you. You go on ahead, bro, because I know
that was my only drawback. I'm not a Stephen Yeun fan of him as an actor. I didn't buy him as a tactical SWAT or gang cop or anything like that. I just didn't buy it. I didn't like him in Nope. I like him as a voice actor in Invincible that Tom reminded me about. But overall, it just, as far as casting goes, it added to the names, but it didn't add to the movie.
Yes, I think that's fair. And in retrospect, well, this movie just came out and it's #1 on Netflix, so I don't want to drop too many spoilers. Certainly go and enjoy it. But what I will say is that in retrospect, after the revelations of the third act, the actions of certain characters are a lot more obvious than you might have suspected just watching it linearly as it goes through the thing.
I will say that it's interesting Mo brings up about how these movies are now being made, because that's exactly what Ben Affleck has been talking about on the rollout. He's talking about how difficult it is now to make a movie to go to the movies, because he's saying that that you need to have you need to spend $25 million to make the movie if it's going to be worth anything, plus $25 million on kind of the rollout. And then, so you need to make $100 million at the box office in order for this to make anything, to be of substance. So, I mean, I think it's kind of an interesting, he's becoming more transparent. And, maybe now they're at this age where they do just pet projects.
Maybe, but I think Sam
maybe
Jackson,
not Matt, but I'm thinking the other dude.
Yeah, I think Sam Jackson said it one time when someone asked him, they suggested that he was not choosy in the films that he's in, because they were like, dude, you done Snakes on the Plane, you did Black Snake Moan, you did Star Wars, you just seem to do anything. And he said, let me tell you something, young man. An actor's job is to act. He said, like, if you work at Target and they have you scheduled to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. My job actually is an actor. I get cast in something, I go to work. My job isn't to be sitting here picky and this, that. He said, like, look, I'm going to bring the best I can to every role that I do. He says, but that is an actor's job, is to act. And we're going to be in anything that we can possibly be in because we love acting. We love acting. He said, I'm not a director. He's in, like, if I was a director, it'd be a different story. If I was a film writer or producer, it'd be different stories. But I'm an actor. My job is to show up and give the best that I can. And I think about that, and I'm like, I think when I look at people like these big names who are showing up for these films, and some of them seem like they'd be small potatoes for someone of these actors' caliber. I think for them, this like, you know what? I dig this story, and I think all the things that Tom and Mo were pointing to being a very, claustrophobic, tense crime thriller, and it just keeps moving. It doesn't like give you time to really rest. It's not a story where 3 days later they're figuring something out. It's like it all happens right now, and that doesn't give you a chance to really walk away, give you a chance to pick up your phone and dial out. It keeps you involved. I think those are the projects that right now more and more actors are going to be going for, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot more things at least that are going to be rated in for Netflix or streaming, because this seems where it goes. Also, the fact that the theater going experience is actually just trash right now. I don't give a shit what theater you go to. Being next to people who are not there to watch the movie is the most annoying, aggravating thing. And I think people have just lost their sense of just decency when it comes to film going. They really, really have. When I went to go and see the damn trailer for the damn Avengers film, and I'm sitting in the theater, I'm in the back, there's an entire row that's empty. I'm in the back row. The whole row is empty for this damn Avatar film. This son of a bitch came into the theater, okay, and sat literally right in the seat next to me. I don't care if that was your seat, good sir. There is an entire empty row. You don't have the decency of, and I'm in the very last seat, so I can't go nowhere. I'm in the seat right on the aisle. He comes and sits right next to me, starts crunching and munching, and I'm like, this son of a bitch, I hope you have a heart attack while watching this film, you filthy bastard. There's a whole row that you could sit in, but you wanted to come and sit next to me. I literally got up and I looked at him like he was just the shit on my shoe. And I went and I sat like towards the middle. And I think I said something to the effect of, you filthy motherfucker. And I just moved over because I'm just like, oh my God, who does that? Who comes and sits right next to someone in an empty row?
It's a assigned seat.
I think
I get it. I would have done that.
For me, the more egregious offense is there are two people, especially now that I'm AMC A-list. So that's basically where I go to see movies. And AMC will tell you it's 25 to 30 minutes of trailers and filler and bullshit, which is fine. I do not like it. I'm going to do Madeline Kahn. Flames on the side of my face. When those MFers bring your food 3 minutes into the start of the film. Don't walk your chunky ass by my face after the film has started. You do all of the chunky ass walking before.
There's 30 minutes before.
Started, it's 30 minutes to do it. And the problem is that people are timing the trailers. They just want to sit in their seat when the movie starts and then their food comes. I'm like, nah, bruh. You need, and I'm the type of person who likes to sit as close to the center as possible because common sense dictates if I'm in the center, you shouldn't have to cross me. You go up the right side of stairs so that you don't have to cross the center. If another person who is sitting in seat 1 comes to seat 20 to walk past me, I will kick you into the row below me.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Yeah. I have big feet, and your center of gravity is already messed up. I will kick your ass, and you will tumble, and all your popcorn and your drink going to be all over.
At least they have shortened that stupid Nicole Kidman.
Oh yeah, she barely in it anymore.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. They say, look, people get it. They're still going to be obnoxious and annoying and clap. Also, I despise you people that still clap because you're doing it just to be assholes. You're not actually enjoying that Nicole Kidman trailer. You just want to be assholes and you want to mess up the experience.
Now they need to shorten that dance little video.
With the guy and the girl.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's concession. That ain't never going nowhere. But I will say this: when you talk about they chopped Nicole. Nicole said, "We come to this place to laugh and to cry. We make movies better." I was like, "No shit." You ain't saying a goddamn thing, nigga. Damn.
No. I
They
think
gonna
that
get the mileage. They gonna get the mileage out of that sparkle suit, though. That sparkle suit ain't going nowhere.
that cost a
Who
lot.
wears that shit to the movies though?
Like for real.
And heels.
And heels. And I think all of that goes into what makes the efforts for really solid streaming, why the fight to buy properties, why the fight to start making your own things and getting big name directors. It's beyond just big name actors. They're getting big name directors, and they are really making things just for streaming. And like theaters or companies like Netflix that now owns a movie theater, they're just like, oh, we're going to get our award consideration by putting it in theaters for a short run to satisfy award contention. And I think a lot more streaming companies will. But again, truly, when you look at like the Globes and things like that, and you look at who won for what and what was nominated and what wasn't, even the award show contention isn't a focus of theaters anymore or film companies anymore, because they're like, you guys aren't even looking at our films anywhere. You're not even considering them for the right category. Fuck out of here with your awards. Fuck out of here with the Globes, damn the Oscars, all of that. We're making shit for streaming now. And if there's a streaming award, cool, but there's so much shit to watch. Mo just got into the Rip, which now, hearing all that, I am going to watch. What are you watching, Liz?
I know someone in the chat asked me for, I think it's Movie Guy. They asked me about Pluribus. I didn't really. I mean, it was okay. It's an Apple TV product.
Has to be.
Look, I'm gonna get my money worth. Apple TV is one of the only streaming, in my opinion, that gives. It doesn't have a lot, but it gives you good quality with top name actors in all of their products. What
is Pluribus?
I liked it's this concept that what happens if all of a sudden everybody's brainwashed into believing one thing, and there's only like maybe 11 people in the world that is not like that, and everybody has to serve them. Because if you want something, then they have to serve you. It's an okay concept. Clearly there's going to be a second season. I think it's going to be a second season. I'm sure about it.
No, but it's like 2 years in the future or something.
It's
not
sure.
like it's not going to be a quick turn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just not. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but I've watched it and I was like, okay, cool. I think I prefer. Oh, Slow Horses is okay. I just haven't watched the new season. I don't know. I mean, I'm an Apple TV person for sure.
Hey, Liz, I've been watching in diminishing returns. I really liked it at the beginning, and now I don't like it as much. But I've been watching Invasion on Apple TV.
Yeah.
I think it's in its third season. Alien invasion, nice concept. A lot of people of color. I think that's important because sometimes you see a lot of these alien invasions and we don't exist. Well, we exist in this one, and we're consequential in this one.
Okay,
but it's had diminishing returns. It's almost like they're running out of story to tell. I don't know if Liz, you had started the show and what you thought of it.
The first season was really good. I was taken aback. The second season, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't started the third season.
That's about where I am. I'm at the end of season 2.
Okay.
Wait, so this is different than the Alien franchise show that's on Hulu?
Oh yeah. This is completely It's called Invasion.
It's just Invasion.
Yeah, Invasion.
I mean,
Okay.
They're going to be bringing, but when I tell you Apple TV brings it, because they're going to be bringing Monarch back this year.
I saw the trailer for that. That looks good.
I
just don't know if I'm gonna get the app. I mean, I haven't seen anything on the app because I don't have it. But I do want to see that. See, damn it. I'm getting another app.
I just had to let people know. I canceled my Disney Plus renewal this week.
Really? Why?
$189 worth of reasons.
Oh shit.
They're gonna have to give me, yes, because my renewal's in January. It's $189.
Wow.
I would rather put that money towards Amazon Prime, honestly.
Wow.
So And this isn't a shout out to service providers, but with Spectrum, you get Disney Plus included in your streaming package. So, and with a lot of other stuff actually. And so, I ended up canceling or stopping the renewal on HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu, because all of those were included. And then I paid money, it's like $5 a month more for me to get Paramount Plus Premium, so there aren't any ads. And I also get the Showtime content. And I did the same thing for, I guess, HBO Max. I didn't do it for Disney because it was a lot more for Disney. And quite frankly, that's one of my least streamed platforms. But I will say, I am watching Hijack, the new season of Hijack. So Idris Elba, and like most of these things, in the first season it was a plane, and now it's on a train. And I mean, this shouldn't be a shocker. There's a big twist at the end of episode 1 that ties into the first season in some way. So I haven't seen episode 2, but I'm enjoying it, and I enjoyed the first season. So what else am I?
Wait, did you see The Last Frontier? Did you guys see The Last Frontier?
No.
You have to watch that on Apple TV. Oh my God. Like, oh my God.
What's it about?
That's the one where the plane crashes in the middle of Alaska, and all of these different people are it's a plane crash with all of these criminals, and they all loose, and they're all killing people trying to get free, and they have to go and try to find all of them. And I mean, it turns into this CIA drops in because there's this high person on it. I don't even want to say anymore because it is so good.
Okay.
On Apple TV. That's the one to watch.
Rob Cat 67 says, "Is anyone watching Fallout?" I tried 2 episodes and I couldn't get into it.
I watched the first season, and I watched like the first 2 episodes of the second season, and I'm like, just because I wanted to see if it got better. And so far, 2 episodes into the next season, it has not. And so I said, I'm taking this off of my watch list. I really tried with Fallout, and the only reason I got into Fallout is because years ago, John Considine was going into the Fallout game with me and Moan. We actually made that conversation one of our best of clips because it was so hilarious, his description of the game. We were like, okay, I gotta watch this. And then watching the series, I'm like, it is nowhere near as fun or interesting as Considine made it out to be. So Rob,
I have a coworker who is very enthusiastic about Fallout, and I think I watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes of the first season before I said, I don't know if I'm just not into the lore. Like, I was very attracted to The Last of Us pretty quickly. Never ever played that video game at all. So I was going in. Same thing with Fallout. Never played Fallout ever again. I have actually played Biohazard, and I don't know that there are kind of some racist undertones to Biohazard that I just can't really get with. But but Fallout, I like Goggins. That's his name, right?
Walter Goggins, yeah.
Walter Goggins, yeah.
I like him. And some people on my feed, I guess there's a Black protagonist who is in season 2 that is getting a little love. And so I decided once I'm done, because I just started, because now that I have Hulu again, I tried to start watching Alien Earth. I'm sorry, Alien Earth. And so it kind of depends on how things will go. But I'm waiting for Ted Lasso to return because I did like Ted Lasso. And I'm not surprised that they're bringing it back because it was a very, very popular show. And I'm perfectly happy to revisit some of the dangling plot threads of the final season. So I'm happy to see that come back.
No doubt. Movie guy, I absolutely have seen all of the trailers for One Piece, the live action series, season 2, and I love every single one. I was a huge fan of the first season of the One Piece live action series, but I'm also a One Piece fan. I've struggled even through all of the super slow episodes, through all of the recap episodes. I'm still
2000.
all in. Yes, I'm all the way in with One Piece, but I'm a huge fan of almost. There's so many anime series that I watch, almost too many to name. Some of the ones that I'm watching now, that there's one that dropped now going on 2 weeks ago called Sentenced to Be a Hero. It dropped with a double episode premiere that is cinematic quality animation, phenomenal. One Piece Vigilantes is back now after not One Piece, My Hero Academia. Vigilantes is back now that the series has ended. It ended with me bawling in humongous Oprah level tears because it was such a touching ending for that series. Looking forward to, I believe it's in later this year, there is another episode they're going to drop, kind of a fast forward in time, see where all the heroes are at. So looking forward to that. Something that I do watch, and my son just looks at me like I'm crazy because he's like, of all the things we watch, you like this? Is a series called Reincarnated as a Sword. And it is a story about a man in our time, in our era here, that dies and is brought back as a sword in a dimension of like Dungeons and Dragons. He's reincarnated as a sentient sword, and he partners with this slave cat who he helps to free, and then now they're on an adventure for this slave cat to strengthen herself, and it's full of really, it's a fun adventure. But also I did like a series called I Died and was reincarnated as a vending machine. So it's kind of a play on that. And Vending Machine is a series about, yes, a young man who dies and is reincarnated as a vending machine in a Dungeons and Dragons world. They have no idea what a vending machine is, so they're just blown away by all these things that he can dispense from his magical vending machine. Anime is absolutely insane. Fire Force is back with a new season. Jujutsu Kaisen is back. It's the Culling Games, and I did see the Culling Games in theater. So if you're watching Jujutsu Kaisen right now, the episodes that are dropping, I believe these first three, and even tonight's, is just the movie broken up. And then next week we'll start to get into the season. But that's all I watch is straight anime. There's like, after we get off this, I'm going back in and watching more anime. Also, Liz, you tried to put us onto this, and I did not catch it in theaters, but the Lord of the Rings animated film, The War
So good.
that film is phenomenal. I'm like, this is one of the best Lord of the Rings films that have ever come out. It's the animated film set 200 years before The Ring. It's on HBO Max now. It is a phenomenal film. And I was like, damn, I'm sleeping. Liz trying to tell us that this film is great. I'm like, shit, this film is great.
And I'm not at all surprised that they're bringing the original trilogy back to theaters, because that's the sort of event that it's been. Can you believe it's been 25 years?
Hard to believe.
Can you believe it's been 25 years? So yeah. I think there's a whole generation of parents who watched it, who would like to bring and allow their kids to see it in the theater. Mm-hmm. So I mean, again, all of these big events. I went back to see Purple Rain. I went to see Sign of the Times. So
Last Track and Back to the Future.
Exactly. So we are in the age cohort who would enjoy seeing these films as adults, especially in reclining seats like they have, and with premium food and all that. So I'm all for it. I love the fact that I can go back and revisit some of my
but it's also because what's playing in the movies is not very good. I mean, besides Anaconda.
Well, but this is my point. I think one of the things, and certainly outlets like AMC are realizing with, playing the Stranger Things thing in theaters. Theaters provide a very specific communal experience. And if you want to revisit some of your favorite films in community with other people who enjoy watching films with you, there isn't anything to compare with it. You can't get 500 people into your living room to watch a movie with you, but you can get 300, 400 people watching a movie that you all are keen on, because in a reissue, everybody who is going to the theater is a fan. You don't
Yeah.
have people who are casual and just like, oh, I wonder if this is something. No, everybody who's going to see Sinners, when Sinners comes back, that is going to be a Sinners fan crowd. And so, you know, that's one of the ways that you can really enjoy a movie in a way that is unique to theaters. And so I don't care. I'm A-list. I will go see anything in the theater. And the one thing that's a hitch in my giddy up is that they have some of these phantom things that are not a part of A-list.
I know, sons of bitches.
Which is very disappointing. But in generally speaking, I was able to take my son to see Purple Rain.
Yeah, but at the moment, you got to have something else besides the throwbacks. So I did see Song Sung Blues. It was okay. But I know that Mo.
That's not gonna be enough, though.
No, Mo went to go see Greenland, and his thing made me like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go see this.
Do not. Do not.
But see, this is the point. When you have streaming services, why would you release Song Sad Blue or Song Sung Blah Blah? Why? That is a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
It is.
As is Greenland too. That should also
That's
be.
what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
you know, studios need to be cagier about what they do. There are some movie classics. If you released real event films that kind of have to be enjoyed in a big format, why is Marty Supreme a theatrical release?
No one knows.
It's not a bad movie.
But it doesn't.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it doesn't need to be released in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's something that
any more than Chrissy did.
or whatever. It should be on streaming. Like that shouldn't take up space in a movie theater. And I know that's not what movie theaters need. But if film companies focused on making big budget films for theaters and start having, even if a studio says, you know what, every other month we're going to have an event film, something that's going to have people coming back multiple times throughout the week to go see a film. And then we're going to do these smaller indie films. You know, we're going to do those straight to one of the streaming platforms. Everyone would win.
We forget. I'm sorry, Liz. We forget. There was a measurable segment of the movie-going audience who were so fed up with superhero movies and big tent movies. They said they're pushing out the indies and the smaller movies, and now we get these smaller movies, and they're not very good, or they're not worthy of our time. More expressly, you know, Song Sung Blue. Yeah, I want to know about the story of Neil Diamond. I'm not going to see it in theaters.
But it's not even about Neil Diamond. It's about a husband and wife Neil Diamond cover band.
Yeah.
That's even fucking worse.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. I thought it was about Neil Diamond because when I saw the trailer, Sweet Caroline,
right?
No. It's a husband and wife covering.
I don't want to be the spoiler, but to add insult to injury, he dies on his way to meet Neil Diamond.
You'll say this all. You saved everyone watching. You saved us a whole lot of money with that spoiler, Liz.
Listen,
but it was a cute movie. It was too long.
Man, go see this shit.
To Marty Supreme's credit, it has grossed $80 million domestically. And as an A24 release, I'm sure it didn't cost that much money. So that's a movie, and probably it opened to $875,000. So the acceleration of people attending it is because of the Oscar buzz and all of that, and the fact that he won.
And I think the word of mouth. I don't know anyone that's seen it that hasn't liked it.
Chalamet is, you know, whatever. I can't believe it's better than Sinners.
I would disagree with you a little bit, but I will say that, the Anaconda movie, I would argue that could have gone to streaming, but I've seen that twice, and it is still funny. And it's one of those things that I would never watch it on streaming. I watched it because this was the only. It was like I had to go see something to wait for my daughter to finish Stranger Things. So, and it's but I also would say there's so many like little other nuggets. So it's one of those things that I'm surprised it even got greenlit.
But people look, they've greenlit.
But it was a lot of people in the theater though.
Part two. The Block movie is about to go into production. The Minecraft 2 is going into production. So right now, Hollywood is absolutely bankrupt when it comes to ideas and concepts. There's nothing that Hollywood knows to do anymore.
So let me tell you.
It's a movie about making a movie, though. Anaconda is a movie about making Anaconda.
Yeah, it's meta. So it's not a recreation of the first movie, which, again, you've got a 70-foot anaconda that's doing things in the original movie that's just crazy. This is how bankrupt Hollywood is, though. I saw a trailer for the new Hunger Games movie, and the way it opened, I was sure that it was a parody movie about the Hunger Games universe.
I thought so too.
Because it's not Effie Trinket because it takes place. It's a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally wheeled in the Effie Trinket of the 50th anniversary. They wheeled her in like on a Silence of the Lambs thing because she's had so much surgery, I guess. And I thought it was Glenn Close in a parody. And it was only when she said the quarter quell or whatever, and they showed the place where the people were going to be fighting. I was like, oh, damn, this is real. Like, it was... I literally thought it was like a Wayans Brothers spoof. And I was like, oh, gosh, they haven't done a Hunger Games spoof yet? And of course they had. But I was just like, this can't be a real movie. And it absolutely is.
No, this is what marked the end of Hollywood and the theater-going experience. I mean, slowly but sure, I give it another 10 years, theaters will be this quaint little thing that we remember like drive-ins, which, you know, where you find
you have a Paris Hilton movie that's doing her concert.
They did a Melania movie. I mean, come on, there's nothing driving people to theaters.
I did not know Paris Hilton was getting that many people going to her concerts.
She does.
But I looked it up.
She sold out in Vegas nonstop. Anytime she hits Vegas, she sold out.
She sings or she's a DJ?
No, she's a DJ.
Yeah, but she also
sings. That makes sense.
No, she has a new album, but the new album is in conjunction with her residency in Vegas. She's one of the biggest DJs in Vegas.
Literally. No, and I get that because she absolutely fits that mold for the people who do the club at in Vegas. I get it. That makes sense. Celebrity DJs make sense as far as that goes. I will just say that I am more interested in Blue Eye Samurai season 2 than I am in most other releases. I love
Blue Eye Samurai. I hear you. First season. Amen.
First season was fire. And the ruthlessness of the antagonist and, you know, everything that was going on. And then, I mean, it was kind of an obvious twist, but, you know, you kind of knew what was happening.
It was reminiscent of Afro Samurai as far as the ruthlessness, the violence, you know, the vulgarity of the murder. It was very similar. Like if they met up, I wouldn't have questioned it at all.
No.
Those two characters,
yeah.
And actually, the animation itself is stunning in Blue Eye Samurai. It really is absolutely gorgeous. And in a way that Afro Samurai, you know, flirted with parody a bit. And this takes itself much more seriously, and I love the mythology and all of that. No disrespect to Samuel Jackson and the two roles that he was playing in Afro Samurai, but you know, this is kind of a different beast. Hey, thank you, Eric Lasardo, for catching the show live near the end of the show, but you caught it live.
Well, look, I hope you were watching the whole time, Eric. I hope you were. And guess what, Eric? we will be back again next week. We are going to be dropping, every week, and whoever's able to join in will join in. But we back, baby. We back.
Yeah,
to be dope, Eric? To be dope? Little Nerd-O-Rama intro. Eric.
No pressure.
No pressure, good sir. This is just what you do. You do intros. Brother.
That's great. And it'll be probably about this time weekly. That's what we're looking at doing.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Please join us. Please join us. We love
Next
it. And
week, I don't know what's happening, but the week after is Wonder Man. I'm actually going to binge the entire thing.
I'm going to watch it.
I'm hyped for that one. I think the build for Wonder Man shows that they're serious, because the build for it, y'all got to admit that they have not put this much attention and effort into anything they have done in a long time. Not since the first launch of Disney Plus and the Marvel series have they put any attention into any of the series. But the rollout for Wonder Man, it's absolutely stunning. The depth that they're going behind the scenes to set this series up. I'm all in. Yeah. I'm all in for Wonder Man.
It is a credit to Abdul Mateen that they are doing it. And I think they righted the ship. I think they leaned way too much into the slattery humor. Oh, it's inside Hollywood. In the build-up as they were doing the teases. And ever since they started revealing that he actually has powers, and they showed the ionic eyes and the powers look cool and all of that, I've been much more excited about it. So I think it will be an interesting series to watch, and I'm going to be binging it as well.
I look forward to talking about it. All right, y'all. Dr. Liz, take us out.
Good night, everyone.
Mo Kelly.
Go see Landman. Just saw the last episode tonight. Definitely worth it. One of my favorite shows. Taylor Sheridan fan. Multipass.
Tom.
Where is my anime suit?
Righteous. Excelsior.